From calling out everyone that has a problem with colorblind casting, to getting hate for portraying a gay character in Strange Way of Life, here's why Pedro Pascal is mad at critics. While discussing the importance of being seen as an actor, beyond just his ethnicity, Pascal said that casting should be focused on finding the person who truly embodies the character, regardless of race or gender, because it's all about improving representation across the board. Now, y'all know that when Hollywood changes a character's ethnicity or gender, social media explodes with heated opinions. But Pedro believes it's all about being open-minded, even if some folks get a bit butthurt about diversity in the casting process. Pascal thinks that everyone should have a chance to audition, even if their racial background doesn't align with what the character is originally like. But here's the thing, Pedro isn't saying that representation should be forced into every project. Nope, not at all. He's all about crafting the strongest story possible. The actor wants the industry to push boundaries and break free from the strict rules that have held them back. Representation, in his eyes, should serve the story, not just a political agenda. If it leads to the creation of a rich and diverse narrative that really sticks with audiences, then it's doing its job. But not everyone was happy with what the star had to say, because some folks went absolutely crazy over this topic and came up with their own theories when it comes to diversity in Hollywood projects. They claim that there's a lot of money involved for the star in these big-budget projects, which is why he's all for race swapping when it comes to casting choices. Yeah, you heard that right. Sometimes studios might see Pedro as white enough to check off the white representation box while also ticking the Hispanic box to meet the race guidelines. It's a win-win situation for everyone involved. The actor gets the money and the studios get to flaunt their inclusivity. It's all about that diversity PR. Now, I'm not saying this is how things work at Hollywood studios, but it's a pretty good argument against what Pedro said, and shows that maybe he's okay with it because, in a way, he benefits from it too. Now let's address the elephant in the room. One fan pointed out that if a character originally meant to be Hispanic was race-swapped, it's likely that Pedro wouldn't be too happy about it. And you know what? They might have a point. Sometimes a character's ethnicity is an important part of what defines them, and being totally colorblind when it comes to casting isn't possible in that case. That said, it's not like colorblind casting in films is a bad thing entirely. In fact, there's been great examples of it even in recent films. I mean, take Jason Momoa for example. This guy has killed it as Aquaman in the DCEU. And let me tell you, he's not your average Hollywood hunk. With his German, Irish, Hawaiian, and Native American ancestry, he probably fills up a movie's diversity checkboxes all by himself. Fans were pretty thrilled to hear that he'd be Aquaman, and there wasn't a lot of backlash for the star not being white, even though that's how Aquaman is in the comics. And guess what? Jason delivered in a big way. He brought a whole new level of badassery to the character, and fans couldn't have been happier. It goes to show that audiences don't always react negatively to diversity. And if an actor feels right for the part, then people are more open-minded to giving them a chance. But sometimes folks do end up getting too touchy about the subject, even going to the point of hurling hurtful remarks toward the stars involved. Remember how much hate the cast of House of the Dragon got when it was revealed that House Valerian would be played by Steve Toussaint and several other black actors? People felt like it was a weird way to shove in diversity, especially when you're talking about a Game of Thrones prequel, where race and familial ties are pretty important plot points most of the time. But hey, Steve shut all the naysayers up with his amazing performance. And in the end, the race swap made sense in the show. But there have been examples of colorblind casting choices that ended up being terrible. Let's start with Callisto in the X-Men universe. Oh man, was that a mess. In the middle of a struggling third film, they made the terrible choice of casting Dania Ramirez as Callisto. Now, no offense to Ramirez, but her acting was painful to watch. Right from the beginning, it was clear that she just wasn't the right fit for the role. It's like they missed the mark by a mile. Fans felt like she was hired for the sake of diversity, despite not being right for the part. And let's not forget about WB Studios and their infamous choice of Catwoman. Now let me be clear, Halle Berry is a brilliant actress, and we all know it. But let's face it, The script for that Catwoman movie was a hot mess. To add insult to injury, it seemed like they chose Barry solely for her looks, and the whole thing reeked of a cheap money grab. They completely missed the complexity of Catwoman's character, and played the race card in all the wrong ways. It was painfully obvious, and fans were rightfully ticked off. So really, it comes down to whether the script can do the characters justice, and if there's a good enough reason to race swap them. Because like I said before, sometimes a character's ethnicity is too important to who they are to change it up. Because of this, there's definitely two sides to what Pedro was talking about. Which is why some folks were disagreeing with him. But then again, it's not like this is the first time the star has gotten into trouble. A couple of months ago, when it was announced that he'd be playing the role of a gay character in Pedro Almodovar's new film, Strange Way of Life, the star received a bit of backlash. Some members of the LGBTQ+ community felt that hiring an actor like Pedro Pascal, who's not publicly part of the community, to portray a gay role is plain wrong. They argued that it's already challenging enough for gay actors to find opportunities in Hollywood, so the last thing they need is straight actors taking away roles that they could potentially excel in. It's a sentiment that comes from a place of frustration and a desire for more authentic representation. Now let's be real here. This is a lengthy debate with multiple sides to it. But I have a hunch that most viewers won't feel that way, especially after they see how respectfully the movie is being made. From what I've heard so far, the character's sexuality in the film isn't being treated as a joke or being used as a tool to satisfy the audience. No, director Almodovar actually subverted the usual expectations fans have from the Western genre. He's contrasting the masculine tropes observed in these films and placing two leading men in intimate and emotional situations. It's a fresh take that challenges traditional norms. Plus, the film has some great dialogue and isn't all about the action and gunslinging you expect to see from Westerns. And to be fair to Pedro, tons of actors have spoken up about this very issue. And they've said that it's all right to portray LGBTQ+ characters, even as a straight actor, like Benedict Cumberbatch, for instance. The talented actor received some heat for playing a closeted cowboy in Netflix's The Power of the Dog while being straight himself. But he responded to the backlash like an absolute pro. He questioned the notion that actors have to explain all their private moments and sexual history just so they could play a part in a movie. And you know what? He's right. Acting is about stepping into someone else's shoes, getting to experience a different viewpoint. You can't play yourself in every film. Andrew Garfield also weighed in on this topic. He mentioned that often when people criticize straight actors playing gay roles, they're mixing up two different conversations. On one hand, there's the important issue of equality of opportunity, ensuring that LGBTQ+ actors have fair chances to portray LGBTQ+ characters. But at the same time, there's the aspect of empathic imagination, where actors delve into the lives of characters different from themselves. So, from getting hate for portraying a gay character in Strange Way of Life, to calling out everyone that has a problem with colorblind casting, that's everything you needed to know about Pedro Pascal being mad at critics.